Hello, welcome to another episode of the Philly BroCast. I am not Ryan, but my name's Eric, and some of you know me from some other things. Just in case we haven't met yet, I've done a couple of these before with one of the two Ryans. But Ryan, how are you
Yeah,
tonight?
I'm doing well, bro. We do a little thing with our arm here. We like to go, "What up, bro?"
What up, bro?
That's it. That you got it. You're a natural.
Nice.
Um, I'm doing well. Just running a little late from work, but excited to get talking about some sports. How about you?
Yeah. Had a day back at work. After the whole holidays, it was you know I would say it was nice to get back to work, but I've been told not to lie. Um, so,
Thank
but yeah, it was a day, and it sounds like you had a day.
you.
And
Yeah, a lot going
well,
on, lot to do. Even though the holidays are coming, what I do in particular doesn't
mm,
really slow down. Hasn't slowed down since March. So we just keep plugging along and keep getting shipments out. So it's fun times.
yeah, and speaking of having fun days at the office, the our favorite football team didn't have such a nice day at the office on Sunday. Um,
No.
Started off all right, feeling pretty good. I made the comparison last night on the Football Smack Talk show that, oh boy, that's going to have to stop. Um, that that really, the first going into the game, I was saying that, man, I really didn't even know if it would be best for the Eagles to win. Like, because again, you make the playoffs and it's, hey, they've made the playoffs 4 straight years. They've won a Super Bowl. Like, what is everybody in Philadelphia complaining about? Why is there such a problem? And, from the outside, that's what you would see and that's what you would think. So that's why I thought in my head, you know what, maybe it would be better just to see the Eagles eliminated, and just then everybody can kind of see, like, no, things are not okay. Status quo is unacceptable. And
Exactly.
then the first quarter happens and we're up 14-3, and I'm thinking, screw that, we can make the play, we win tonight, we win next week against Washington, and I want Tom Brady's head on a stick.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that for a while now. One of the things that Ryan and I talked about was how if Jalen Hurts does succeed, and it just makes things more complex,
Sure.
more controversy, and you're going to have more talk from the media, from Doug, and having to explain things, and it's just a mess. Of course, I want the Eagles to win no matter what. It's all about the name of the team and not the name on the back of the jersey or who's quarterback or whatever. Whatever gives us the best chance to win, of course, we all want. So that's really the key. In particular, for this last game, I just wanted to beat Dallas. I
Sure.
mean, if you go throughout the year and you go 2-14, as long as those two wins are Dallas, I guess Eagles fans can feel a little bit better. But I don't know. It was a rough game. A lot of it, I'm sure you guys mentioned last night, was on Doug. You know how you saw Deshaun
Sure.
Jackson for a long ball and then didn't see him for the rest of the game. How Goddard had 2 targets and Zach Ertz maybe one just target.
Yeah,
Miles
that's
Sanders.
unacceptable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have weapons all over the field, and you're just not using them, especially with Miles Sanders. First down, run the ball. I like it. Get 7 yards. I love it. Don't run the ball again. I don't like it. It's very confusing.
Yeah, I do think that the confusing is a good word for it. The play calling, it's just, I don't understand. I don't understand why they immediately abandoned the run. Heck, they were ahead and started abandoning the run.
Yeah,
Like, that just, it made no sense. You have a good running back in Miles Sanders, like, and I kind of like the rest of that running back room. Corey Clement, I came into this season hoping that he could fix things. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Not going to happen here in Philadelphia. It was a great story, local kid. It was a big part. Heck, maybe he, for lack of a better term, sold his football soul so he could make big plays in that Super Bowl. And really, I guess the devil called his marker in.
That's it. That's got to be it.
That's because I was seeing him and thinking, man, how did 31 other teams not draft him at all?
Yeah.
And then we see that, and nobody can predict injuries. At least, I don't think anybody can. A lot of people try to claim to, when they label somebody injury prone before they, just because they tear a ligament that, so many people do, and then, get a concussion on a cheap shot, and apparently he's injury prone. But
Exactly.
I digress. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't imagine who that could be. Those are oddly specific injuries to just randomly name for someone.
Yeah. One of the big things that I was also confused about was just some of the, I guess, non-adjustments early on. When you see, I believe it's Jaquette is how you pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
When you see him getting picked on, just absolutely demolished off the line, you figure that you try and maybe get him some help over on that side, maybe switch up coverage and have somebody else covering Gallup.
Yeah, just do something different.
Yeah, like the CeeDee Lamb touchdown was one that, I see happening. You see that during a game. You see that against the best defenses in the league. Some people just don't make tackles. There was good blocking downfield, whatever. The availability, I guess you could say, of Michael Gallup, or I'm sorry, his first name is Michael. Of Gallup is just perplexing because you saw his abilities, you saw how well he was succeeding against Jaquette, and still really nothing happened. And I can understand where people are like, well, there is nothing to do. Yeah, there's some things you can do, and it just wasn't getting done. I don't really blame Schwartz for the loss. It's more on Doug, but it's one of those, again, confusing parts of the game where it's just like, what was going on? And then you see Andy Dalton look like a all-pro, Pro Bowler, and really that's not the case. We haven't seen Andy Dalton play well in how many years? So it's
been a minute.
And I understand the injuries and everything like that. It's tough, but should have been a closer game at least.
Yeah, part of the problem is really I feel like the Eagles' game plan on defense going into yesterday was front four, get pressure. If you can't get pressure, we're screwed. And that's the only way you help protect corners, and especially guys who, let's be honest, Jaquette, he doesn't belong in the NFL. He just doesn't. God bless him. I'm sure you'll have a great career in something. You're doing way better than I would have done, but the best thing I can say for him. I do want to bring up a comment that was shown. I don't want to bring up some of the other comments by Mr. Patton here, but I'll put this one up because I think it's relevant for us. What do you think happens next year? And that's a broad question, but why don't we start with the front office? Do you think that there will be any kind of shakeup? Do you think anything needs to change in the front office? Do you want to give Howie another chance, or are you done seeing draft picks made by Howie Roseman?
If you want to be really technical about it, Howie Roseman drafted Rager and Hurts, and another thing with the success that you were talking about and that I was saying, they go out and look good during the year, that makes Howie look good. That means
Right.
nothing's going to really change. And that's kind of what you were alluding to with the whole, if things start to succeed or, the team does well, you're almost allowing these personnel or these upper management and coaches to kind of have a pass simply because they succeeded at certain parts.
Right.
Overall, this year has been a fail for the Eagles, an absolute F. Maybe a D plus because of certain things or certain people, but that's the highest grade you could give this Philadelphia Eagles team for this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
a harsh teacher, I would give them an F- if that's available.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that minus is just like a twist in the knife when it's in the side, but I got you. Basically, what I would like to see and what I'm looking forward to is some changes for the coaching. So possibly not acquiring, but just getting somebody in there to help Doug with the offensive play calling. Getting somebody in our front office that can be, I guess it's like a player personnel scout, if you will. I don't know some of the technical terms, but somebody who's been watching college, been watching guys, and can make educated choices and decisions, for this upcoming draft instead of Howie being that guy. So that's a couple things that I want to see. And then obviously it's going to be a quarterback competition in the offseason, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think regardless of what happens this Sunday, that I like this comment here. Need new thinking. Division thinks like losers, and then they lose. I mean, that's very well said. And the Eagles are not exempt from that. They acted like I said it way back week 3 when they played the Bengals and didn't go for the field goal at the end. They could have won the game. And the thought process, some people said, well, if they miss, then you give the Bengals a chance. They run one play and they're in field goal range. And I said, that is a loser's mentality. And like, you don't go for the win because you're scared of losing. The first thing you have to be is you can't be afraid to fail. And that was the staple of Doug. That's why they won in 2017, because he wasn't afraid to fail. If he's afraid to fail, he doesn't run Philly. He doesn't run special in the Super Bowl if he's afraid of failing. He doesn't go for it on the fourth downs throughout the year that he went for. He doesn't go for a 61-yard game-winning field goal at the end against the Giants week 3 if he's afraid of failing. And that is something Doug has to figure out. Like I've said this before about Carson, you need to figure out what makes you, because otherwise you're no good to us. And I say the same thing about Doug. Like, you have to figure out what it is. Like, get back to what makes you, or you're no good to us.
Absolutely. One of the big things, like you were saying, was that he was ballsy. He would go for it on fourth down. He'd make decisions that some of the other coaches would be conservative on. And that's what separated him and made him a little bit special. And like you said, I mean, in the Super Bowl, we wouldn't make some of the calls, and it would be a different story. But honestly, to what Joe was saying, there is a certain part of even Doug's coaching that needs new thinking. So, yes, I understand.
That's where you need your mind.
The reliance of spontaneity and almost I don't know if I'm, the opposing coaches don't know if he's actually going to go for it on fourth down, but now it's become like, yeah, he's going for it on fourth down. We'll just clog up the lane and stuff him. And it's like, well, if they now know, then punt the ball or kick the field goal. Do something that could possibly give us an advantage on defense or 3 points. And it's very simple. You need to score more points than the team win.
Yeah, that philosophy definitely helps. I definitely think, also doing some things different. If you're going to go for it on fourth down and it's 4th and 1, Well, the conventional play is hand the ball off and get your offensive line to get a push, or get your quarterback a quarterback sneak. Well, run a play action. And see if you can get your tight end in a one-on-one matchup that favors you. Or get your quarterback who's so effective outside of the pocket. Either one, it doesn't even matter which one I say, Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts. Both of them are effective outside of the pocket. Run a play action, let them do a little boot with an option that they could run it if they want. Do something different. There has to be a change, and this is where I think, like you talked about, bringing in a new voice for that offense, whether it be in the traditional sense, calling them an offensive coordinator or whatever you want to call them. I don't care. You just need a different voice in there. And I would like someone to handle the play calling. I don't think that's a battle we're going to win. They're trying to get Doug to give up the play calling. But maybe if you can get a different voice that helps put together that offensive game plan during the week.
Absolutely. And it's not like we have to be trying to reinvent the game.
Right.
One of the basic things for this team during this year has been the KISS, mentality. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yes.
So if your quarterback is struggling, you don't continue to throw the ball. You just run it. You have a running back that was averaging, at least 6 yards per carry at some point during the year. Throughout the year, he was averaging a great number of yards per carry. And I'm not saying great as in large. I'm just saying great as in better than the average. And he was consistent. Why not give him the ball? You can see his ability. You can see his ability to get 3 yards and then sneak through guys to get an extra 3. And I mean, that's something you just don't teach. You see some of these other running backs in the league, throughout the league, besides the elites, that are just bland. They will run into guys and just stop. Miles Sanders has that extra year. Keep giving your weapons the ball. Some of the comments.
Yeah, I want to put one of these up here.
Just play calling has been horrendous. Miles Sanders just not. I don't know if that means he should have been used more.
I think it's criminally underused is what he means.
Okay, because Uber used would be like he's either driving somebody to the stadium or he's used a lot. But I understand what you're saying, Richard. Thank you. It's just ridiculous. And another one that he said, the 2 tight end sets. It's like, yeah, we have it. We're running these 2 tight end sets, but we're not applying it. We're not actually executing. And that's the huge issue. But I don't know where that's lying because we have 2 very talented tight ends. I doubt that they're not getting open. Usually tight ends are covered by who, Eric?
Linebackers,
right? Yeah.
Or safeties.
Or safeties.
And if they're being covered by safeties, that means you're getting one-on-one coverage on the outside, and you can challenge them down the field.
Exactly. It's just like we are not coaches.
No.
We do know the game well enough to understand what we see and is not working. Again, we are not out here trying to get a job to coach for the NFL.
If someone wants to hire me, I'll take it.
You can get hired. I can just be the opinion guy. And it's
Jesters aren't supposed to be kings.
But it would be funny if they were.
Right?
It's very frustrating, very confusing. And that's been this year. It's been the whole year.
Yeah, I feel like we could just use that as a blanket statement for the year. Not just Eagles football, just the year. Frustrating and confusing.
Annoying.
Aggravating. Want to put a hole in the wall.
Many adjectives and synonyms and things like that don't work out. Yeah. So one of the big things that we like to do is transition well. This is not a good transition to another sport, but I would like to talk about some basketball, unless you are not finished talking about football. Did you have any suggestions or ideas or something like that? I didn't really ask you. What's your plan for next year?
Well, my plan would be to hire a new voice in that front office, and like say John Dorsey. We don't know what his role is currently with the team, or what it was before. I would like to see him in like a player personnel role, whether it be as the president of player or football operations, what have you. I would preferably like him above Howie Roseman in the pecking order, is this guy has a pedigree, and it's a lot better than Howie Roseman's.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would like to see. And then in the coaching staff, I want to see somebody hired as an offensive coordinator, somebody, whether it's play calling or just helping put together the game plan during the week. I feel like that's a must. And if you don't, like, those are the two big changes I want to see as far as like non-player moves.
Yeah. Agreed.
But yeah, we can talk some basketball now. That'll be a lot more enjoyable topic to discuss.
Exactly. So, for example, you got the Sixers who got somebody in there who can make moves, who can kind of affect that front office and kind of push forward, get us a
strong Twitter game.
What's that?
We found out has a strong Twitter game too.
Apparently too strong. $50,000.
Too strong for the NBA.
Yeah, that was a nice little fine he got there. I wish I could get fined that and not care, but
right?
It's one of those things, like the whole tampering and all that nonsense.
With social media, try and figure out more clear definitions of tampering because of the way you can do things on social media.
To try and say, like, I sent out yes, John, they are moving in the right direction.
I would definitely that deserves a foot up there.
To try and say that Morley had any intentions other than getting James Harden here is ignorant. Like, everyone knew that he's trying to get him here. So even if it sent him a text, a tweet, a Facebook Messenger message, whatever, the guy's been talking to him. So what does he have to? I know that the workarounds and stuff like that, it's just tough. $50,000. Hopefully, the organization put that up for him, or however that works.
Yeah.
So one thing that we have to focus on is the positive moves that he has made. And one thing that Richard said is that the load management for Embiid after 2 games. I believe in the 3rd game he was having some back issues. His back was seizing up or tightening up. So it wasn't really. I don't believe it was a load management thing. I think it was more of an injury thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I think it was just, and again, to use a great phrase that we've become so accustomed to in 2020, I think they were just proceeding with an abundance of caution.
There you go. That's a good one. So with that, you have Joel, who's, in my opinion, one of the favorites for an MVP just because of the situation that our team is in and the position that he plays. He can put up a lot of points. He can get a lot of stats. And, obviously MVP, you need the great stats. But he's also going to be a very important piece to this team moving forward. You got Ben Simmons being able to move the ball. He's got options now, people to dish outside, shoot the ball. He's got other ball handlers that can, make things easier for him. You've got great role players and a little bit deeper of a bench, which is fantastic. They just made I think it was the 3rd year extension for Thibault. So, they're
excited about that. I really liked him a lot last year. And it's funny, I almost feel like he had hit the rookie wall right before the stoppage. And it was like that stoppage basically gave him a chance to just, get himself right and work through that. And he was great when they came back.
Yeah.
One of the only guys who came back stronger.
Yes. Another thing that Richard just mentioned, that Shake Milton, great guy coming off the bench, great role player. Um, you know, guys like that. Doc is infamous for having a great bench and just being able to use his team properly. And with the execution, with the game planning that he has, I do believe that the Sixers can make the playoffs this year. Um, but that's just the simple part. How far they can go is a little bit different simply because you have some really solid teams in the East.
Sure.
Who's your favorite in the East?
I mean, I guess the easy answer is to say somebody like Brooklyn to see, but it's going to be interesting to see how Kyrie and Kevin Durant, really mesh as this year goes on. But yeah, look, the Boston, Toronto, Miami, they're all going to be strong.
Milwaukee.
Yeah, gosh, I feel bad having left them out. And no disrespect intended, but yeah, Milwaukee is going to be really strong.
Yeah, I mean, just with having an MVP caliber player like the Greek Freak, and then you have Chris Middleton, who is incredibly solid. I mean, the guy's an all-star himself. So, top two teams you can see, like NSN just posted Brooklyn and Milwaukee, but I don't see the Sixers very far outside of those two teams. So,
yeah, I mean, look, they're going to be right there. Like I said, like the groupings, if you were to say, say Milwaukee and Brooklyn are 1 and 2, like if they're that top tier, I think the Sixers belong in that tier right below them, along with, say, Toronto's, Miami's, and Boston.
Miami and then us. Yeah, I would say it's like the top 4, barring any injuries, obviously, or anything like that. Yeah. What's that?
Sure, yeah, and I know we're up against it. We have a hard out in about a minute, so I guess any final thoughts?
The hard out is not applicable this evening, so
okay,
we're good to keep going, man.
So I got some stroke around here. I can a little bit. Okay,
do what you want. You're in the a boss man seat right now.
I'd like to think after about 11 years or so of doing a podcast with Ryan, I might have some stroke. I might have some pull around here.
You have some pull around here. So, yeah, I mean, with the Sixers making the good moves that they made.
I 100% agree with this comment here.
Oh, yeah, huge. Huge pickup.
Yeah. And especially for nights like tonight when you have to give Embiid a night off. And it's nice to be able to plug in a guy who's, done what Howard's done.
Yeah. I mean, he's now a championship guy, but throughout his career, posting good numbers, defensive player, guy that can just, get up there, pull down the rebounds. He's fun to watch. He can perform some excellent dunks, which kind of gets everybody hyped, which is a good thing. I mean, it's not the main focus, but, when the whole
thanks, Ryan.
when the game is going, a simple dunk or a tip slam or something like that can get the entire team pumped. So that's something
around on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. And getting guys like that and guys like Steph and Danny Green, even though, like Richard was saying, Green might look a little uncomfortable right now, but defensively he's still strong, coming out with steals left and right, playing very well. We just need to limit our turnovers.
He's a great defensive player.
Yeah.
That's kind of just what he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, one of the keys to basketball, period, and most sports is limiting turnovers.
Sure.
Basketball, a little bit different considering how many possessions each team will have and things like that. But, I would imagine, you limit the turnovers, you give your guys the opportunities, and this team can really put up some points and really affect how the East is shaped. And I like how everything's come together for the Sixers.
And I think one of the big things, we noticed it a lot last year, was the Sixers team sometimes just kind of lacked focus and the attention to details, that discipline on limiting the turnovers. I feel like with a coach like Doc Rivers, who I mean, as much as like I don't want to be the guy that dogs Brett Brown, especially now that he's gone. But I mean, Doc Rivers has some clout in this league. Like his resume speaks for himself. When he talks, guys, even guys like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons know they better shut up and listen. Whereas you didn't have that same effect when with Brett Brown.
Top 10 in the league history, I believe. He just moved into with his wins. So that's fantastic for him. I'm very proud to have him part of our organization. He brings a winning culture with him. And that's enormous. I mean, just the team of coaches that he brought in and brought with him, if you will, not him personally, but, you know, the organization.
Sure, yeah. And they surrounded him with some great assistants.
Exactly. And with, Reese, I mean, you can see the huge differences between Brett. And one of the things is that, like you were just saying, Brett was the friend. Doc is the coach.
Yeah. And look, it's good to have that kind of relationship where you feel like you can talk to your coach as a friend, but you have to know, just like, you know, in any line of work, I know I'm friends with some of my bosses. I know when I'm talking to my friends and I know when I'm talking to the boss. And I feel like they didn't make that correlation. They didn't distinguish that when they talked to Brett Brown. And whereas Doc Rivers, I think Doc Rivers will, like, he's always had a good rapport. He's been a player's coach, but he also knows how to crack the whip a little.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I mean, he's had high-profile players on a lot of his teams. Obviously, that leads to the success, but, you know, he's had to deal with guys like Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and, you know, even, you know, Paul George. Kawhi Leonard is what I would imagine to be the coach's best friend, just because he's probably just a monster. Like, everything you ask him to do, he does. He's awesome. But I could see that. Thank you, Reese. I love it. Gifted score. Can't do it like you, but it's hilarious. You know, you got guys that are on this team that have big heads because they've been, and you know, NBA All-Stars and all this notoriety for where they were drafted and how well they played in college and the stats they put up. But you haven't done anything in the league yet. Nobody on this team has really done anything in the league yet. Danny has some championships, but he was on really great teams. I mean, he's not like the veteran voice, though. You're not going to, you know, look up to Danny Green. The guy's, you know, 20-some years old. So just having that coach that can be the veteran presence is enough.
Yeah, you can bet that conversation took place in the room where Doc Rivers said, I don't care about your story. None of you in this room have done a damn thing in this league. And they haven't. And, you know, like I've talked about this, I feel like almost ad nauseum, about at the end of that playoff game against Toronto a couple of years ago when Joel Embiid was just so upset. And, like, I really felt for him. I thought, like, this guy, maybe he's having that come to Jesus moment where he's figuring out, like, that what it's going to take. And I remember saying, take that pain that you're feeling right now and make it mean something.
Apply it.
Yeah.
That's huge. And that's one of the things that makes a player go from, you know, a rookie to a veteran, if you will.
Yeah, that good to great.
Yeah. Somebody whose maturity has stepped its own game up so that you can accept criticism and you can apply your feelings to the game and take it out on the ball, on the rim, on you know, opposing players in a reasonable manner. You know, emotion is one of the biggest things that pushes sports along, competitive nature. If you can't use it, then why are you even feeling it? That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So it's huge that we can now have a coach that can literally tell somebody, I know what you're feeling. I've seen this situation before. I've worked through it. Here's what we need to do. Let's apply it. let's go get them. And that's what I'm excited for, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. Hey, in just a couple minutes, the Sixers tip off. In fact, I want to make sure I get my dinner in front of me before that Sixers game starts because I'm excited to watch this team. Like, it's been a little bit even like, I mean, look, when the pandemic ended, well, okay, it hasn't really ended, but when the restrictions lifted and we were able to watch some sports, like I was excited to watch that team, but I kind of had that feeling in the pit of my stomach that, like, yeah, I'll be excited to watch them for about the first 10 minutes and then I'll be yelling at them and I'll be like, man, go back to lockdown.
Yeah. No, I can definitely understand that. I'm just glad that, sports are continuing to move along.
Yeah.
One of the big things that I'm excited to see is hopefully we can get a full baseball season in, possibly.
Yeah, and I really want to be able. We talked about this last night on Football Smack Talk. How, man, wouldn't it be cool if we're able to actually attend some games? I mean, I know scary thought we'd be allowed out in public. I can understand why they keep me, locked up, but I would imagine somebody like yourself could probably be allowed out at a sporting event.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm an animal, so I understand why I'm not allowed.
Yeah, I've been to a few, and I'm accepted there, so I feel like I'm at home. But I mean, I got your back. Whoever's against you being at any sporting event, I'll square them up and knock them cold in their jaw. That's
now I feel a lot more confident. It feels a lot better coming from you than coming from me. I feel like when I flex my muscles like that cartoon where it's like.
No. Ooh, that's a good
like
one.
Like that a lot. Jose Alvarado going to be a nice addition to this bullpen.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the big things that we've been talking about for this team. I mean, pitching is key. We need it. We've needed it, and just making moves to get pitching into the staff is huge. So. One of the things that I like about Jose is his track record. He's performed well. We know that he's a solid guy, and like you were saying before, the injury prone. So far, so good, if you will. So, knock on wood.
Yeah, I was saying, now that we've given him the kiss of death.
That's why you knock on wood. It eliminates.
Right. Yeah. Sure. I'll ask the question right now. I got an alert on my phone earlier today, and I'm sure everybody else did. It's not just it wasn't just a text sent from me, but by some expert. But the Phillies have not even made an offer to JT Realmuto. Are you as outraged by that thought as I am?
Is it true? Is that really true?
Well, I'm more outraged at the thought that someone could actually have that thought and believe it strong enough to put it out there. That should never even it should be, hey, the Phillies haven't offered JT Realmuto BS. That should be the response.
So do you believe it? No. I think it's great for press and media and all of us to talk about. Do I think that he could go to another team? Yes, of course. Just because you've watched how the Phillies have lost players or just simply let them go or traded or anything like that, and they've been successful, and that's obviously a Philly thing, not just the Phillies. But one of the big things is that I like to see the moves that they made pitching, but what I've hated to see is the Padres. I mean,
yeah, dude, the Padres are coming after
the Padres in the National League. Am I just off a little bit? They're in the National League, right?
Yeah.
So you're allowing a team that not only took Manny Machado from you, but now you're allowing them to go get a great pitcher and then make moves towards you, Darvish, for another great pitcher. So even if you get into that position where, hey, we're just a little bit better than the Braves, and we can't match the pitching of the Mets, but we can out hit them. And then the Marlins, we'll see how that works out. And all of the teams that we have to deal with, you're still waiting to play the Padres in the playoffs.
Well, I think the Phillies were just confused because last year they only had to play the NL East and the AL East, so maybe they were just thinking they don't have to deal with the Padres anymore. But yeah, in all seriousness, yeah. Look, I've always been one of those.
Money.
Yeah, I mean, you first thing you have to do when you're when you want to run a successful organization, when you have talented players, you hold on to those players, and then you build around them. Like, it's not one of those where you let those guys go and then you just try to replace them with other guys. Like, your number one priority, if you have a top tier guy, you have to keep him, and like, you just don't even let the guy leave the room. Like, I don't understand how it wasn't like JT Realmuto, you're signing a contract with the Philadelphia Phillies like last June. Like, I don't understand how that didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of do understand just because we got Middleton and
yeah, let me be clear. I don't care about Middleton's money. You can go on for expense if need to, Bob.
I'm annoyed and frustrated, just like I am with the Eagles for certain decisions that they've made with the Phillies and the decisions that they've been making.
I feel like you've done kind of the anger sandwich. Normally, like, in reviews, they like to do the compliment sandwich. We've done the opposite, where we've started with the anger of the Eagles, the positivity of the Sixers, the anger of the Phillies. So I'm feeling like this is a good ending point before I smash my computer, because when I talk about the Phillies, I tend to get a little angry because, like, I just feel like there's not a whole lot this organization does well.
Yes. Eric's about to go Hulk mode and literally destroy. He's angry. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. But, I mean, yes. To say that having JT not signed before the year, so just say, how the Manny and Bryce thing went all the way up until a certain date. What was it, February, March, or whatever?
It was March. They were in spring training.
So if we're gonna wait, okay, we're probably gonna wait, and we need, but like, as fans, we just need some hope. We need something. And the Phillies haven't gotten as much but Alvarado. So
but we have the Sixers. And we have the Flyers. They're coming up in a couple of weeks. They'll be starting. I'm excited to watch them. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yep.
But I hate to play this card. I promised the missus I would not be on so late, so I've already gotten the look of death. She's got dinner ready for me. So everybody, I want to thank
you. Did you tell her you were on with me? I mean, clearly,
that's the only reason she was accepting of the idea of me coming on in the first place, was because I was hanging out with you. If it had been with Reese, it would have been, oh no, you let
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, if you're talking about me, that look can kill. I look like I'm about to go play golf. I just got home from work and threw a hat on. It's like,
I was gonna say, like, you said you were working, and I figured like you were out at one of the local golf courses.
You got to smooth those surgeons there, Eric. You got to schmooze them.
Okay. See, I work with contractors. Nobody cares about what I dress like.
No, just get them Wawa coffee at 5 a.m. You're good.
Yeah, and that's pretty much my strategy.
You talk with them for about 2 hours until they really start their day, and then you're good.
Yeah, exactly. I talk sports with them, get them in the mood to spend some money or break things, and then I make them pay for that too. And so, yeah, it works out good for me.
Eric, I just have to say thank you very much for stepping in and just being a consistently awesome host on every show that you're on.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Let's just give a shout out to Notoriety Sports Network. As you can see down here,
Damn
you can
right.
all
Great group.
follow them on all your social media. Please look down here as my fingers show you the way. And just, keep liking, following, sharing everything that we're posting and putting out there. Um, you know, again, we have a passion for sports. We have a passion for talking with you guys and just, getting everything out there that we want to get out. So thank you very much, whoever follows, shares, likes, listens, just even word of mouth. That's how things used to get done. They can still get done that way. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching tonight. Thanks for commenting, sharing. All everybody who chimed in, really appreciate it. So, how do we typically end this? Is it with another flag?
A little bit of the Go Birds.
Go Birds!
Yeah, well, something like that. We'll work on it.
All right, maybe I'll do better next time, guys. Have a good night. Happy football.
See ya.